Is it again?
I can't help it. It's work. I'll be back Sunday night.
We have been married for 10 years. My husband, Tom, who was promoted to a management position about 5 years ago, has been increasingly required to stay overnight for business trips out of state on weekends. With nothing else to do but send him off quietly whenever he says it's for work. I've taken care of everything at home and all the kids' events by myself. Is it really just work? I've started to have my doubts. After all, there are casual clothes in Tom's luggage besides his suits. When I ask him, he says he changes when he goes out to eat, but it just doesn't seem right. Would Tom, who dislikes hassle, really do something like that? I'm Sarah, 40-year-old stay-at-home mom. I have 2 children in elementary school. My husband Tom works in the sales department of a manufacturing company. I was working at his client's office when I first met Tom, who came in for sales, and I fell for him at first sight. After dating for 2 years, we got married. When our kids were little, we would spend weekends at the park or go out as a family, and I think we were like any other happy family. But now it feels almost like a single-parent family. The kids seem lonely too, and I'm filled with guilt. Then one day, I found something. While cleaning Tom's room, I noticed a letterhead from a fancy hotel in another region. He probably used it for some notes. It was Tom's handwriting, scribbling something about work, but there's no way he'd stay at such a nice hotel for a business trip. This must have been where he stayed last weekend, alone or with someone else. That was the moment my suspicions almost turned into certainty. I took photos discreetly for evidence, put everything back as it was, and decided to hire a detective agency that I had looked into before. Tom probably thinks I, a stay-at-home mom, wouldn't have the money to hire a detective, but in reality, I've been saving up little by little and have a bit of income from simple work I do at home. The results of the investigation came back quickly. Probably it seems that the affair might have started around the time his business trips increased. His affair partner was a woman, Ellie, who had been with the same company for 5 years. Tom, using his management position, had been preying on female employees. What a jerk he is. He must have thought he wouldn't get caught, or he wasn't even trying to hide it. The detective was amazed at how easy the investigation was. It turns out Tom spends 2 days a week at Ellie's apartment. I had no idea, but it seems Tom's company has 2 fixed early leaving days per week, and on those days, he always spends time with her, pretending to work late and coming home just before the last train. It's astonishing how he could come home and say things like, "I'm tired and working late is tough." Maybe if I had checked the overtime pay, I would have seen that his hours didn't match up, but the affair started just as he got promoted to a management position and stopped receiving overtime pay, so I never noticed. Unaware that I was investigating, Tom kept coming home late from work as usual. And then here we go again.
I've got another business trip next weekend.
It infuriates me to think I've been deceived, but I can't let it show on my face or in my voice. I have to act normal. Again, haven't your business trips been frequent lately?
It can't be helped. I have a job that only I can do.
Oh, really? Work that only he can do, huh? Must be special work with your mistress that only you can do. He's acting all high and mighty, not even realizing I'm almost onto him. I know it's work, but where's the business trip to next?
It's Chicago. Hey guys, Daddy's going on another business trip, so I'll bring back some souvenirs. What would you like?
He smoothly changed the subject to souvenirs and went over to the kids. Looks like the next trip is to Chicago. And then the weekend arrived.
Well, I'm going then?
Take care. You'll be back Sunday night, right?
Yeah. I'll have dinner out.
So an outsider, we must seem like a happy couple. He leaves first thing Saturday morning for an overnight affair trip and doesn't come back until after having dinner together on Sunday evening. What a joke. I'm furious, but as Tom walked out the door, I said to his back, "Enjoy your last affair trip." With that, I closed the front door.
What?
I thought I saw Tom turn around, but by that time, I was already inside the house. Now, I need to put my plan into action. It's going to be busy. First, I need to pack up everything before the movers I arranged come. My kids are with my mother, who took them to the amusement park, and they will stay overnight at my parents' house. I feel sorry for the kids, having to leave home without understanding why. But it's all that man's fault. Even I, who have been a relaxed stay-at-home mom, found out I can muster incredible power when needed. I managed to pack up quickly and hand over the stuff and some furniture to the movers without a hitch. The essentials for the kids were taken to my father's house by car, and the rest I've stored temporarily in a rented storage unit. And next, I headed to Chicago. I had asked the detective to find out which hotel Tom and Ellie were staying at. Careless as ever, Tom didn't even use a fake name, but booked under his own and paid with his credit card that manages our household finances. Thanks to that, we found out their hotel immediately. But since Tom manages our finances, he's probably always done it this way. I can't help but feel frustrated with myself for not realizing it sooner. After waiting a few hours at the hotel, they might have been sightseeing. Tom and Ellie entered the hotel, acting all lovey-dovey like fools. Well, so that's the type of woman he likes. He's old enough. They acted like such a ridiculous couple, and I don't know where to look. Probably because they figured they wouldn't know anyone in Chicago. They let their guard down completely. The two of them lined up at the front desk to check in. I decided to ambush them from a sofa in the hallway leading to the elevator area. After they finished checking in, they walked toward here, completely oblivious to everything but each other, and didn't even notice me despite my not being in disguise. I stood up and deliberately walked towards them, as if to bump into them. Only then did Tom and Ellie turn their faces towards me, as if they were about to bump into me. Ellie, of course, had no idea who I was and looked annoyed.
"Who's this lady? Move out of the way."
Tom turned pale. His eyes were wide open, his mouth half agape.
Why are you here?
His expression screamed it, even though he didn't say a word. Ellie tried to go quickly by pulling Tom's arm, but Tom couldn't move. He must have been frantically trying to figure out what to do next. The thought almost made me laugh. "I came here too," I said brightly, with a purposeful smile.
No. Why did you come?
His eyes couldn't look at a point. He looked completely flustered. His work done already. That was quick. Tom didn't respond. I turned my gaze to the woman, gazed from top to bottom in a way that seemed as rude as possible, then smiled and said, "Who might this lady be?" I tried to ask in a light, almost giggly tone. Tom scrambled to untie his arm from hers and mumbled,
Well, she is a colleague of mine.
"You're arm in arm with your colleague. Do you even do that at work?" I wanted to retort, but let it slide. Instead, I turned to Ellie with a bright smile. "Hello, I'm his wife, Sarah. Nice to meet you." Realizing the situation, Ellie pulled away from Tom with a shocked expression. "You were checking in quite cozily together, weren't you?" I said, showing Tom a photo I had secretly taken. Tom looked panicked.
Hey, did you take a photo? No, it's not what it looks like. You're mistaken.
He was still trying to deny it. Mistaken, as if that could be. Couldn't he come up with a better excuse? Well, no matter. I accomplished what I came to Chicago for. Well then, I'll be going home now. Let's talk when you're back from your business trip. Bye-bye. I waved and left the hotel. What those two did after that, I have no idea, but Tom returned home as planned on Sunday night. I had been wondering whether he would come back at all.
I'm home. Hey, Sarah, are you there?
He shouted. I see. It seems he chose to be angry. He's trying to intimidate me to cover up his faults. No way. I won't let him do that. I'm here.
If you're there, at least respond.
He stomped loudly, trying to intimidate me, but the shock was on his face when he opened the living room door. And no wonder. Not only was I there, but both our parents were waiting for his return. Everyone stared at Tom silently until his father, John, spoke up.
Sit down.
Before Tom arrived, I had shown our parents all the evidence from the past 5 years, the detective's findings, and what I had seen and documented in Chicago. John, usually cheerful and gentle, spoke sternly, causing Tom to flinch and awkwardly take a seat.
Do you have anything to say? If you do, I'm listening.
It's imposing when someone who's usually calm gets angry. With just that one line, Tom straightened up.
No.
He seemed unable to say anything. He didn't know how much we knew and was gauging how to respond.
Sarah has told us everything up to now, including what happened in Chicago yesterday and the photos. What on earth have you been doing?
Tom was expressionless and said nothing in response. After a moment of silence between Tom and John, neither speaking, I decided to make a move. I always thought something was off, but then I found this in your room the other day and had it checked out. I showed him a photo of the hotel letterhead I had found in Tom's room. Tom looked startled, but everything was already out in the open. Resigned to his fate, Tom began to speak hesitantly.
It was just for fun at first. I thought she was kind of cute. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to neglect my family.
Really? What are you even saying? Didn't mean to neglect your family. Going on multiple affairs trips a month, never showing up for the kids' events, leaving everything to me. And you say you weren't neglecting your family? Don't joke around. You didn't think about our family at all. You just had fun with the younger woman. You dumped everything on me, didn't you? I'm always alone at events that other couples attend together. Have you ever even considered how I felt? The more I spoke, the angrier I got. You hardly seem aware you're even married, do you? You have 2 elementary school children. Don't you feel ashamed of having an affair? I don't need a husband like that. After a while, Tom spoke up.
I'm sorry. I may have gotten carried away.
He apologized. What was he expecting to do with an apology? The frustration built up over 5 years and the shock of seeing the reality with my own eyes wouldn't just disappear with an apology. Apologizing now is pointless. In fact, Tom had an affair even when I was pregnant with our first child. Back then, I still loved him dearly and forgave him because he apologized so earnestly. But this time, I can't forgive him. Seeing Tom in Chicago, all cozy and grinning with Ellie, I completely shut down. I feel nothing for Tom anymore. Please sign this. I handed Tom the divorce papers. That's when he seemed to notice for the first time that the house looked different.
Wait a minute. Where's the furniture?
In a panic, he went to check the other rooms. It's too late for that now. The bedroom, the kids' rooms, all were empty. After checking around the house, Tom came back, shoulders slumped.
You knew, didn't you? It's over then?
Yes, it's impossible now. We're getting a divorce. And so, under the watchful eyes of our parents from both sides, we signed the divorce papers. Even though the divorce is finalized, I've been a stay-at-home mom focused solely on household duties and raising our children. What worries me is our livelihood. That's why I demanded 5 years' worth of alimony and child support from Tom. After all, I had been deceived for 5 years. I asked for a substantial amount in alimony. Then, as if forgetting his own faults, Tom suddenly lashed out in anger.
$30,000 in alimony. There's no way I'm paying that. Are you kidding me? I won't pay it.
It was John who showed his anger at this brazen response.
Are you even remorseful? As a husband and a father, you've been irresponsible. Considering what Sarah has been through, that's too little.
He said so and struck Tom. Tom, who had been hit, just glared back at him silently. The situation was getting heated, and it was getting scary, so I decided to shift the focus. If you won't pay, I'll just ask her. I have her name and address. I could even contact her employer if I need to. At this, Tom looked horrified and said,
Don't you dare. Are you trying to ruin her life?
No, but you've ruined mine. You realize, why did I ever marry a guy like this? You love that girl that much. You're foolish. Then pay up without complaining, and I won't touch her. Eventually, his infatuation with Ellie made him agree to the alimony. Honestly, I was prepared to accept less, but I was lucky to get the full amount I asked for. Next, we discussed child support. Tom complained about this too.
$1,500 a month? Isn't that too much? $1,500 for 2 kids. Sarah, aren't you being too greedy? Are you being stubborn because you lost to a young woman?
My mother started to stand up at his words, but I stopped her. It's fine. I reassured my mother with a nod and delivered the final blow to Tom. The child support is for 3, not too little.
What?
He didn't seem to understand. I mean, the 3rd child. I'm pregnant. Of course, it's yours. You remember, don't you? I'm actually 3 months pregnant. I hadn't told our parents about this, so everyone was visibly shocked. Tom's parents were the first to grasp the situation. They turned to me and my parents and apologized.
We are so sorry. Our foolish son has truly done something terrible. Sarah, we will take responsibility for ensuring the child support is paid. It must be hard managing with 3 kids. Please use our house.
They even offered to transfer their house to us. Honestly, I had not expected such generosity, so I'm deeply grateful to Tom's parents. Although I had initially moved back with my parents, the uncertainty of our future living situation was dawning, so I gratefully accepted their offer. Later, Tom's parents persuaded Tom to sell the house he owned, and they gave me the proceeds. Tom now lives with her parents in a second-hand apartment. Tom's parents keep a close watch to ensure he doesn't get into any more trouble and manage his finances. Thanks to them, there have been no issues with child support payments, and I can live without worry. Tom's relationship with 2 children, which was never strong, has not improved since the divorce, and they have never asked to see their father. We've agreed not to arrange visits unless the children want to see him.
Being alone has made me realize the warmth of family. I'm lonely. I want to see my kids.
Tom occasionally sends messages like this, but whether he will see the children again, I do not know. And about Ellie, It seems she was unaware Tom had children and quickly lost interest after finding out. Moreover, someone from Tom's company happened to see them together in Chicago, and the office affair came to light, becoming the subject of gossip. Tom was demoted, and the woman was transferred to a branch office in her hometown. What goes around comes around. The due date for my third child is approaching soon. My 2 children, my parents, and in-laws are really looking forward to the birth of my baby. Once the baby is born, I may show Tom the pictures through my in-laws.